You're listening to WTMFI 67.42 FM Chicago.
Good evening, all you weird and wonderful beings, and welcome to WTMFI 67.42 FM Chicago. This is TJ Fanpool, aka Turbo TJ, reporting to you live on TikTok. Tonight, WTMFI is your source for Star Wars Facts of the Day Weekly Review. During the week, we bring you a Star Wars fact Monday through Friday. Then on Sunday, we do a live review of all the facts, bringing you all the information we have researched from StarWars.com and Wikipedia.com. I hope you'll stick with us through this show and take part in the chat after each fact. Now, a little bit about your host, me. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, but not just the movies of the original trilogy. I have been following Star Wars since I was a kid, starting with the original trilogy, but I didn't lose that interest at the end of the trilogy. My passion for Star Wars made it a whole part of myself, and I fueled that with books, comics, movies, and TV series from the 1980s till today that expanded my knowledge and lore of the Star Wars universe. So I'm glad that so many of you came in tonight. Thank you all for coming in. Zivery, thank you for coming in. And everybody who's come in so far. I am going to change things up a little bit. Again, Zivery, thank you for coming in. Mr. Mono, welcome in. Lady Bella, welcome in. So I'm going to alter the program a little bit this time. So instead of me just, blowing through the facts and then we have the chat at the end, I'm going to give off the facts, and then I'm going to actually allow for the chat. If anybody wants to comment on the facts, I'm going to open it up to you. If no one wants to comment on it, I'm definitely going to give my views on the facts. So I'm hoping everybody takes part in the chat about the Star Wars facts, because I had a lot of really good ones this week. I had a lot of fun researching them, and I especially, because I did Star Wars, Lego Star Wars this time, this week, I actually have the build right here. I'm actually going to turn on the camera for that. Let me actually check that camera, make sure it's in the right position. I think it is. I left it kind of active. Okay, there it is. Just make sure this is standing by, so I can actually have that as part of it. So let me turn that one off for now. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that was functioning. Okay, so first fact of the day. Let's get into the facts. Star Wars fact of the day. Pod racing is a dangerous, sometimes lethal racing sport performed by repulsor craft known as pod racers, which are small one-man craft propelled by large engines. Popular on planets such as Malastare, Kerrigan's, Theron, Cartertonia, and Tatooine, individuals who compete in these games were known as pod racers. The objective is simple. Racers would perform multiple laps on a particular racetrack, moving at dangerous and, at times, deadly speeds, and win the race. Course markers line tracks like the Bunta Eve Arena, signaling to a pod racer's navigational system the route to follow. A racer wins after completing 3 laps around the course and crosses the finish line. Galactic history explains that pod racing was inspired by a more primitive version of the sport where carriages were drawn by creatures who would race around a track for glory. This sport transformed into the dangerous high-speed competition after a mechanic called Phabos applied the same arrangement of carriage and creature to modern technology, replacing the carriage with a pod and the creatures with engines and using repulsor lift technology so that the vehicle could hover. While making the pod racer exciting is the danger of it all, which is why it's a mostly outlawed sport within the Republic, but thriving on the Outer Rim. Although there are rules and regulations, they're treated more as guidelines. Officials and referees exist, but even they are easily bribed, threatened, or distracted by pilots and their crews to circumvent guidelines they intended to enforce. Pod racers needed to have extremely fast reaction times to compete. It was a sport generally partaken by non-human species. Pod racers are generally designed for a pilot, which requires the species that has to operate this exceedingly complex pod, maintaining the engines, running diagnostics, tracking other racers, and more, all while piloting. The engines vary in design just as much as the cockpits. Different engines offer different benefits. Speed, maneuverability, and durability are all factors of having a successful pod racer. But the pilot is the other key factor. Betting on the races is a popular pastime with many who watch the races, which is why the majority of the racing arenas are in hut-controlled space, as well as other underground worlds and organizations. Though betting on the races is illegal on Republic planets, viewing the races is possible through the holonet broadcast throughout the galaxy. Pod racing was outlawed by the New Republic, but due to the dangerous nature. But despite this, the sport has still practiced on certain remote worlds such as Tatooine, Batuu, and Varaspa. So I really enjoyed researching this one. Does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to add into this? Love it when Jar Jar crumbled his tongue. He always made me laugh. I absolutely agree. That scene was absolutely hysterical. I personally love that part. And a lot of people, I know from experience that a lot of people put down Jar Jar for his comedic timing and stuff like that. But honestly, he is what made that movie, The Phantom Menace, good for the kids, because he was something that the kids could get involved with. And the fact that he is so popular with so many fans that they actually made a Sith version of him in the Lego Star Wars movies. I mean, come on, you got to admit that it was actually really funny. I know, and that's what I felt so bad about the actor who portrayed him. He got so much hate for so long. It's the reason why I was so glad that Ahmed Best finally got his breakout role as Caloran Beck in Mandalorian, where he's finally in a role where he can actually play a character that's not Jar Jar, and so he can actually feel and get some of the respect that he deserved. And his character of Caloran Beck, I already covered a fact on him. He is a great character, and I really hope we get to see more of him in the upcoming season of Mandalorian. I don't know how much more we're going to get, but I honestly am looking forward to it, because honestly, I thought his character was fantastic. I agree too, and it's so much better for him to be involved. And if you guys are fans of Jar Jar, I highly recommend checking out Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, because Sith Jar Jar, he has a part in that, and I thought he was fantastic. I really like the way they did it, and he's in both the Rebuild and the second Rebuild the Galaxy. Hang on a second. It's Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past. So they're both on Disney Plus right now. If you guys get a chance to check them out. Upcoming season. There is another season of Mandalorian in the works. So we obviously just got Mandalorian Grogu in theaters, and there's already rumors of another season of Mandalorian in the future. Now, we don't know exactly how that's going to manifest, because we've got two things. We've also got Ahsoka season 2 that's coming out. So that's also going to be a big factor, because Ahsoka is in the same timeline as Mandalorian and Grogu. So a lot of people are waiting to see what happens with Ahsoka season 2. So, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Ahsoka season 2 is coming out next year. So we've got time to, if you want, I highly recommend going and watching Mandalorian and Grogu. I think it actually is due to leave the theaters soon, if it hasn't already. So it should be on Disney Plus within the next month or so. So I highly recommend watching that and getting yourself up to date on that. And then definitely checking out Ahsoka season 2 when it comes out. So, all right. For all of you that are tapping the like, thank you so much for tapping likes. If you want to share the broadcast out, I'd really appreciate it. I also have a live goal today of the thumbs up that's in the gifts. 50 of those will get me my live goal. If you can help out with that, great. If you're not able to, it's no big deal. I appreciate just tapping the likes and commenting. I really appreciate it. That also gets me so much more populated. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next fact of the day. This is the one from Tuesday. Black Krrsantan, a Wookiee bounty hunter whose career spanned the Empire to the New Republic. Escaping his homeworld Kashyyyk and trained by the Zadi brothers as a gladiator, later became a ferocious bounty hunter. He was regularly hired by the crime lord Jabba the Hutt, and at one point fought Obi-Wan Kenobi, receiving a scar from the Jedi Master's lightsaber. During the Galactic Civil War, Darth Vader hired Krrsantan to track down and capture an agent of the Emperor. Sometime after his contact for Vader expired, Krrsantan was summoned along with fellow bounty hunter Bosk, IG-90, and B-Box to a cantina on Sol Tool, where, as he waited for his fellows, Krrsantan entered the cantina's fighting pits, where captured Wookiees fought each other for the entertainment of the customers. Krrsantan strangled a fighter and took his place to become a contestant, becoming one of the only Wookiees to enter the pits willingly. The Wookiee bounty hunter won the fight by beating his opponent to death. After the fight, Krrsantan joined Bebox, Bosk, and IG-90 in the cantina, where they were approached by rogue archaeologist Dr. Aphra, who had issued the summons. She told the assembled bounty hunters about her plan for a heist. The Empire had just broken the criminal element known as Satul Pride from dominated Sol Tool's underworld. The fortune they had hoarded was in transit to an Imperial vault. Dr. Aphra told the bounty hunters that she had inside information that would allow them to locate the transport, circumvent the guards, and get away, and that she was offering them a part in exchange for their services. Krrsantan then piloted the ship towards Anthem Prime. There, Krrsantan was able to use an asteroid to penetrate the Arcanian-class cruiser's hull. He and the others gathered what remained of the credits aboard the cruiser before using the ship to collect the credits floating in space. After the heist, Krrsantan went with Dr. Aphra to Athen 13, where they met with Lord Vader. Krrsantan would work for Dr. Aphra a few times, as well as other clients. Following the death of Jabba at the end of the war, Krrsantan was employed by the late Hutt's cousins, brothers and sister crime lords known as the Twins. Their cousins' criminal empire had been taken over by the former bounty hunter Boba Fett, who Krrsantan had worked with before, and the Hutts sought Krrsantan's services in wresting control away from the self-appointed daimyo. Krrsantan attempted to assassinate Fett, but was captured by his forces. Shortly after, the twins promised to leave Tatooine, and Krrsantan was eventually employed by Boba Fett. A part of Fett's forces, he participated in the battle against the Pike Syndicate, which resulted in Fett's Grotto's victory. So for any of you that are interested in learning about Black Krrsantan, his story has been well documented in Marvel Comics, specifically in the Darth Vader comics, as well as the Dr. Aphra series. And he's actually made additional appearances throughout. But as most people who finally got to see his live debut, he showed up in Book of Boba Fett, and he fought alongside Boba Fett and Mandalorian Din Djarin during the battle against the Pike Syndicate. And we also get to see Krrsantan going up against several Trandoshans, which, as covered in my fact from last week about Wookiees, they have a long-standing grudge against Trandoshans, because Trandoshans used to hunt them for sport and would kidnap them on a regular basis. And when the Empire took control of Kashyyyk, I had that right. When they took control of it, they used the Trandoshans to actually burn down the forests on Kashyyyk. They didn't burn down all the forests, but they burnt down a huge swath of them. So Krrsantan is one of the few, and he absolutely hates Trandoshans. Not only that, because they also bet against him when he was in the pits. So he has a long-standing hatred for the Trandoshans. So getting to see him fight them in Book of Boba Fett was so good. So I highly recommend anybody interested in checking that out, because it was so good. And honestly, just his character, because if you actually read in the comics, he actually has a one-on-one meeting with Chewbacca. Now, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but let me just say, Chewbacca will never forget who Black Krrsantan was ever. So I highly recommend if you get a chance to. I believe some of the Star Wars books have been released to the libraries, so you could go on Libby or Hoopla, or Libby, yeah, it's Libby, Libby, or Hoopla. Those apps are available through, I believe, both Apple and the Google Play Store. And you basically just need your library card, and you can access those books and stuff like that, and it's completely free. Now, you also can get them if you have a Marvel Unlimited digital comic membership, so you can actually get them that way. So I always recommend doing those kinds of searches, because the library is great about making that stuff available. So if you get a chance to read some of his stuff, it's really good. The artwork is good, the story is good, and of course, it's set in the Star Wars universe, so of course it's going to be good. So I always recommend it. Can't Sleep, welcome in. So if anybody has anything you want to chat about with Krrsantan, if you have any questions or anything like that, please put them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer what I can. But hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So, and for those of you who are already in, please keep filling up the chat. Tap on the screen to give me some more likes. I appreciate it. Oh, Can't Sleep. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you so much. So for those of you who don't or haven't been on the show before, I leave the chat open for anybody who has any questions about stuff. But feel free to chat about anything related to the facts. If you even want to bring up some of the ones that I've done in the past, you're more than welcome to. Because I love talking about Star Wars. I could talk Star Wars all day long. So if you have anything you want to chat about, or if you have a suggestion of a fact that you'd like to have me cover, please load it into the chat. I would be more than happy to cover it. So thanks so much. But Can't Sleep, thank you so much. You actually knocked out my goal. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you helping me with that goal. That's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next fact. So, Star Wars fact of the day. And actually, let me include the additional camera with this. Okay, Star Wars fact of the day. Lego Star Wars Part 2 video games. So, Lego Star Wars, the video game, was the first of many Lego-themed Star Wars games. Released in 2005. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Lego Star Wars game was released in 2005. It was a video game adaptation of the prequel trilogy of George Lucas's movie franchise. This was just 6 years after the Lego Group and Lucasfilm had partnered to create and release Lego Star Wars sets to the public. Lego Star Wars the video game was developed by Traveler's Tales for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Windows. Kryptonite Games developed the Game Boy Advance version in April of 2005. A Macintosh port developed by Aspyr was released in August of 2005. A GameCube version of the game was released in October of 2005. All versions were published by Eidos Interactive and Giant Interactive Entertainment. In 2003, Traveler's Tales started the work on the game with assistance from Lego Interactive, who would also publish the game. Due to financial difficulties, the Lego Group left the gaming industry and closed down Lego Interactive in 2004. This then required Lego to go outside of their company for development of their video game library. A small team of former Lego Interactive employees went on to found their own publishing company, Giant Interactive Entertainment, and would be able to publish all future Lego titles, including Lego Star Wars, the video game. The key thing for the game was to make it not only about Star Wars, but the replayability and the co-op of playing together would be more enjoyable. In addition, Lego and Traveler's Tales pitched the game to LucasArts to be a parody of the films and make it uniquely fun in a Lego-style play and comedy. In this spirit, the free play style was included in the game development, allowing players to explore and unlock special puzzles and mini-games, in addition to unlocking characters from the films and be able to play with them in the levels of the game. LucasArts then partnered with Traveler's Tales to work on the first Lego Star Wars game. The game was revealed at the July 2004 San Diego Comic-Con, with Traveler's Tales announced as developer and Giant Interactive Entertainment and LucasArts co-publishing the game. The game, released in August of 2004, received favorable reviews on all platforms and went gold in March of 2005. That's less than the time than the game actually came out. So within the first year, it went gold. The game was the 13th best-selling game of 2005. This positive response to the game would help develop the game's sequel, LEGO Star Wars II: The Original Trilogy, which was released in September of 2006, so 1 year later. It followed the events of the first 3 original Star Wars films by George Lucas and Lucasfilm. Traveler's Tales and LucasArts announced that LEGO Star Wars II: The Original Trilogy and its predecessor, LEGO Star Wars: The Video Game, were to be compiled in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga, released in 2007. This also was a success with positive reviews and sales. This was bolstered in when LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars was released in March of 2011, based on the 2008 animated Clone Wars film and its follow-up television series of the same name. This continued with LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens, based on the 2015 film of the same name, and was released in June of 2016, 1 year later. Several additional online and portable video games were developed and released from 2009 to 2021. Many of these games are no longer available for playing on any system, but they are videos about them that you can look up on YouTube and many other documentary groups. Then, LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which depicts all 9 films in the Skywalker Saga, including the 3 featured in LEGO Star Wars: The Video Game, and was released by Traveler's Tales in April of 2022. It also featured the playable films from the Complete Saga and LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens, along with the other 2 films of the trilogy, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. This is the finale of the LEGO Star Wars video games in regards to Star Wars. The absolute complete telling of all of the Star Wars movies. Abby of the Dark Side, welcome in. So I had a lot of fun researching this because the Star Wars video games for LEGO are actually really popular. I myself actually have the Complete Saga here with my collection. I play it on my PS3. And I haven't completed all of the missions, but I've unlocked a whole bunch. And the real truth about this game is that there's such a great aspect of replayability because there's so many things that you can unlock. There's so many levels you can unlock. And I'm really looking forward to going back and playing it. I unfortunately haven't been able to get my PS3 up on screen just because we've been going through some stuff here at the house. But I regularly play it, and as soon as I can actually connect it up to my computer so I can stream it, I will definitely do some lives where I'm going to be playing LEGO Star Wars. The one that I did not play yet, and I didn't even know that it existed, is LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars, which I don't know about how many more are big fans of the Clone Wars series and the movie, but I didn't know that they came out with a video game of it, and I am so interested in checking it out, especially because it's the one that features Ahsoka. Now, I have to do some more research on it. I'm hoping that they also include Rex, Fives, Echo, the members of Domino Squad, and I don't know if they've come out with a version where the Bad Batch are in it, but I know I would definitely want, if there's a downloadable thing that adds them in, I would definitely want to get that. So I highly recommend to anybody who's interested in those kinds of things, definitely check them out. Can't Sleep, thank you so much for the heart me. I really appreciate that. And thank you all for continuing to tap on the screen and give me the likes. I really appreciate it. Sharing the live is a great way to support me. If you want to give gifts, I'm more than accepting of them. You don't have to, but I really appreciate any that they come in. So, and it also helps the channel to grow. So I appreciate you sharing it out and get the word out. It's fantastic. Does anybody else play any of the LEGO Star Wars games? I never played any of the games when they first came out because I was more into a lot of different games, so I hadn't thought to get into it. But it's definitely something I would highly recommend checking out. So, because the games are just a lot of fun, and the replayability, and plus the aspect that it's an open game. So there's literally, you don't have to like play through level by level by level. You literally can just play through the movies that you want to play through. There's unlock codes and stuff like that, so you can unlock all the levels. You can just go in and play whichever game you want. If you want to go in and just do the stuff to unlock the characters, and there's run-throughs online about how to actually unlock all the different characters. So I highly recommend checking them out because there's so much detail there, And it's a lot of fun. I played the game myself, and it definitely is fun. There's the replayability of going back in. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. Or the share. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So I get that sound effect whenever somebody shares it. So thank you so much for sharing it out. I really appreciate it. It's one of my favorites. I actually edited that one together. So it's from an old classic Jet. So I really appreciate when people do that. Okay, we're going to move on to the next fact. Star Wars fact of the day. Shock Troopers were specialized infantry of the Alliance to restore the Republic. These highly skilled soldiers were the elite of the rebel forces. Following the Battle of Endor, many ex-Imperial officers became warlords. As a result, the rebellion deployed shock troopers, also referred to as droppers or drop troopers, to hunt down and eliminate them. They were deployed in drop ships without any backup. Many of these troopers had experience working covertly and could rout out any Imperial target. Having vast experience on a multitude of environments and combat experience with years with the rebellion, the shock troopers was the kind you knew would get the job done. After Imperial activity had died down and the New Republic was formed, the shock troopers were converted into peacekeeping, tasked with protecting New Republic delegates and controlling riots. Some even went in to become marshals for territories needing assistance from the New Republic. So I really wanted to cover this because we haven't gotten that much information about the Rebel shock troopers just yet. The only one we know for sure that's actually given us information is Cara Dune from the Mandalorian series. And I don't know if we're ever going to see Cara Dune again on live action, but I personally really enjoyed her character, and I was really excited when she came in. So I don't know about anybody else if they're fans of her character, but I thought she was really cool. So I'm hoping we'll get more of her in the future. But it's really interesting about the shock troopers that I just really wanted to research them a little bit more. Unfortunately, there's not a lot about them. StarWars.com didn't really have that much. So most of the information I was able to get was from Wikipedia.com. And there's a little bit more online. There's a few more articles that have been written about them. So I found this image, and I didn't want to just use Cara Dune as the only image. But I wanted to really show that they are a major military force with the Republic, and I'm hoping we're going to see some of them in action. Because I don't know what's going to happen in Ahsoka Season 2 or some of the upcoming Star Wars things, but I'm hoping we get a little bit more with the shock troopers in the future, because I just think they're an interesting kind of... I almost want to compare them to like SEAL Team 6 or the Navy SEALs or something like that. When they said that they use drop ships, that kind of made me think about Warhammer 40k with the Space Marines when they drop down those kinds of things, or kind of like the drop ships that were used in Mech Commander and Mech Warrior. So I'm interested to seeing, like, they haven't actually shown those ships yet. So I'm hoping at some point in time, it'd be really cool for me personally, is that if they do show up in like Ahsoka or Mandalorian or something like that, so we can actually see what they look like. And then I'm hoping that Lego will come out with like their own version of what like a dropship looks like, or we can actually get the minifigs of Rebel Shock Troopers, which I think would be so cool. So I'm actually hoping at some point in time to get to the cons. I don't know if I'll get to them this summer, but I'm hoping to get to a few of them so we can actually see what the Shock Troopers look like, because I think they're going to be really cool. But I'm interested. Does anybody else know anything else about the Rebel Shock Troopers? Because I don't know that much, and the information I found was literally all I could find. So if anybody has anything they'd love to chat about that, definitely post it up in the chat, because it's really interesting stuff for me, and I really enjoy looking this stuff up. And it was a lot of fun for me to actually research this guy. I didn't find that much, but it was still fun to read up on him. And I actually went back and I watched a couple of episodes of Mandalorian so I could hear some of the stories that Cara Dune talked about. And it was really interesting. And the really thing that I love the most about Cara Dune's character is that she's from Alderaan. Her family's originated from Alderaan, which was one of the first times outside of the original trilogies that you hear about Alderaan, and that she was a survivor, that she wasn't on planet when the planet was destroyed. And this also comes as an additional thing because you don't know exactly what happens to the Alderanians. It's covered in the Star Wars comics a little bit, and there's a couple of the novels that get into it. BP, welcome in. And the information you get is not a whole lot, and unfortunately, because Disney hasn't done anything in a visual form, which I keep hoping they're going to do something with that at some point. It'd be really cool if they did some kind of thing. I would love them to do something like that, where they not only cover the Alderanians, but to see what they get involved with. Because you know that the survivors of Alderaan, because like Cara Dune is a prime example, would join up with the rebellion to get revenge. So that's my personal thing, is I would really think that that would something they would do. Radisek, welcome in. That they would sign up with the rebellion just to get revenge for the destruction of their planet. And when you see Cara Dune in action, she hates the Empire, because she takes out that one guy, point blank range with no sympathy whatsoever. So I'm really hoping we get some more of that at some point in time. I'm kind of hoping that we get that in Ahsoka season 2, but I don't know for sure how they're going to do things. But it's going to be personally, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Ahsoka. The next season of Mandalorian is going to touch on some of that, but I don't know for sure if that's going to happen. But again, I love when that stuff comes up, so I'm always interested. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next fact. Bombas, welcome in. Star Wars fact of the day. Home 1, Mon Calamari Cruiser, a variant of the MC-80 Star Cruiser used by the Alliance to restore the Republic. The Mon Calamari brought more than determination to restore freedom when they joined the Rebel Alliance. Manufactured by Mon Calamari shipyards, this immense vehicle was a startling contrast to the straight-line shapes favored by the Imperial fleet, whereas the Imperial Star Destroyer resembles a pointed dagger in space. A Mon Calamari cruiser lacks hard angles and is covered with ovoid form, suggesting an organic sculpture. In contrast to standard issue frigates from this model, Home 1 has been armored with heavy hull plating, triple-strength shields, and extensive offensive weapons. This vessel packs an enormous punch. Turbo lasers, ion cannons, tractor beams, projectors, and shield generators dot the flowing surface of the ship, along with 20 hangars for bearing other warships and starfighter squadrons. The largest and most advanced ship in the Alliance fleet, at 1,300 meters long, it's slightly larger than the standard length of an MC-80 Star Cruiser. The ship's briefing room was originally a holographic amphitheater. At least 2 sections of the ship could be detached themselves from the main body and became fully independent attack or escape craft should the need arise. The ship's command crew was entirely made up of Mon Calamari. This was due to the controls that were specifically designed for that species. Originally, the ship was built with water-filled passages for the Mon Calamari crew to swim through, but these were later cleared out for other species. Once the headquarters of the Rebel Alliance fleet during the storied Battle of Endor, Jester, welcome in. The frigate Home 1 now serves as Grand Jal Akbar's flagship of the New Republic fleet. Home 1 was present during the first official gathering of the Rebel Alliance above the planet Dantooine. Through its service in the name of overthrowing the Galactic Empire, the Home 1 became characterized as a defender of democracy. Home 1 served as a mobile command center after the Empire discovered and destroyed the main Alliance headquarters on Hoth. It was also the command ship when Mon Mothma, Crix Madine, and Admiral Jal Akbar, and a host of other important Alliance officials briefed members of the rebellion on the upcoming battle on and over Endor. After the Battle of Endor, Home 1 would lead campaigns against important targets like the Quadi Drive Yards, a space battle with the Imperial destroyers above Kashyyyk, and the Battle of Jakku. Home 1 later belonged to the Resistance under General Leia Organa against the First Order. Commander Poe Dameron was assigned his very first mission aboard the Home 1. Hello, Jester. Welcome in. Yeah, I see them on Calamari. Yeah, it is a really cool design. And honestly, when I first saw these ships, I wasn't sure what the heck it was. I mean, when you first see it on screen, when you transit from, I'm trying to remember, I believe it was, if I remember right, it's the scene right after Obi-Wan talks with Luke, but I might be wrong about that, and they switch right back to the Rebel Alliance fleet, and you see the Home One. It is actually a really big ship, and the Lego version is actually huge as well. So I'm actually tempted to actually go to get the Lego build of the Home One. I haven't decided just yet. It's on my list. Ivy, welcome in. And it's on my list of things to actually get in the future, but I really enjoy these kinds of things, and it's always fun for me to. When I was a kid, it was like, it looks like a pick. I know, exactly right. But I thought it was a Star Destroyer with. Yeah, I know. It looks unusual. But of course, you have to remember that this was a ship that was designed by an aquatic species. So, of course, it looks like a giant submarine in a way, because it just has those little bubbles and stuff on the side. So I just thought it was, kind of like that. But yeah, big space. Well, that actually is accurate. Though, of course, if you think about, there's that Star Trek movie, Voyage Home, where that giant probe kind of looks like a big cucumber as well. So, you have your different ships that look like different things. But yeah, so I always thought the Home One is a very interesting design. And I collected the Micro Machine version, so it was really cool. And I really love this design. And if you get a chance to look these up, some of the designs that came out about the Home One is actually, they go into a lot more detail, and the fact that it can separate out into multiple ships, I always thought that was really cool. So, and that is actually a feature that's not just on the Home One, but on a lot of the Mon Calamari ships. They make it so other ships can actually fit inside, and this was shown by Admiral Radish's flagship from Rogue One, where the Tentative 5, the Corellian Corvette, was actually able to escape because it was inside the ship. And I always thought that was kind of cool, that the Mon Calamari ships are so big that they can actually fit other ships inside them. I mean, this was something that the Imperial Star Destroyers had, like some of the smaller ships could fit inside them. But, you hadn't seen anything that was big as a Star Destroyer, and the Home One almost is. So I always thought it was a really cool ship, and that's the reason why I wanted to cover it. So, all right, that is it for the facts of the week. So thanks so much for everybody that came in and chatted with me about this. This was a lot of fun to talk about this stuff. And I really appreciate everybody who's given me the gifts. Can't Sleep, thank you so much for all the gifts. And everybody who shared the live out, I really appreciate it. And 6,000 likes, thanks so much for tapping on the screen. I really appreciate it. Anybody have any questions or anything you want to chat about Star Wars? I ended up finishing up a lot quicker than I wanted to, but I didn't even get a chance to talk about. So this past week, I did Star Wars Fact of the Day about Lego Star Wars, and I did the live build here of Jedi Bob's Starfighter. So I actually really like this design because it reminds me of Anakin Skywalker's fighter that was used in the Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars, and I really thought it was a cool design. That's the reason why I wanted to get it. And there's actually, the really cool thing is you actually have these storage compartment areas under here. So I was actually able to store his lightsaber right there. So, and unfortunately there's no slot for a droid on here. But the really cool thing that I liked is that I actually got a new droid through it. Here on my Star Wars symbol, I've actually got Servo. He's the Gonk droid that's actually featured in the show. So I was really happy I actually got to add him into it. So that was really cool. So, and I do have, there is a third Star Wars Facts of the Day that I'm going to do on Lego Star Wars about the movies and TV shows that have come out. S, welcome in. So I will be covering that. I don't know if I get a chance to cover it this coming week, because unfortunately my work schedule is going to be pretty hectic. So I'm going to figure out which, if I can do it this week, I will. If not, it may end up moving to the week after next. The one thing I do want to let everybody know, I am not going to be able to do the Star Wars Facts of the Day weekly review next Sunday. Unfortunately, I have to work that day, so I'm actually going to move it to Saturday. So I'll definitely set up a reminder and a video to let you guys know. But it will probably be around the same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, because I'm in Illinois, so I usually have to go by that time. So, but I will definitely post up about it. If you're interested in chatting with me about this, or anything about Star Wars, my message is always open. If you guys don't want to chat with me on TikTok, you can definitely reach out. Abby of the Dark Side and I have our Reddit page that we have called We Love All Star Wars. So you can definitely chat with us on there. I have it linked to a bunch of the videos that I have, and I'll actually link it to when I come up with the next one. Obi-Wan, welcome in. So yeah, so if anybody has any interest in that, if you have facts that you'd like me to chat about that I haven't covered already, let me know. I've got a ton that I'm always looking for new information on. And when I do part 3 of the Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, I will be doing another live build. It's going to be of this one. So this is the Sunburner Lego set from Star Wars Lego Rebuild the Galaxy. So I'll be building that for the next live build. So once I actually get the fact out, I will definitely be doing it. I'll send you a DM. Sir, tell me about you. Okay, great, excellent. Yeah, so definitely let me know if you guys want to chat more. If you have a fact that you'd actually like to see me cover, let me know, because I've got a ton of facts that I haven't covered yet. There's so much in Star Wars to talk about, and I haven't covered absolutely everything. I'm trying to limit my stuff to what's canon, just because the problem with Star Wars is that everything is always changing. So something that wasn't canon now becomes canon. So I never know if something's going to stay canon or if it's going to change. So I try to keep things as up to date as I can. But stuff is always changing, so I never know exactly what to focus on and that. So I try to focus on stuff that I know is a fact, and it's something that's covered recently. So almost everything. Yeah, Legends is don't be. And I was big into the expanded universe before the purchase by Disney, so I have so much information that I know about the expanded universe, from Mara Jade, Dash Rendar, to the Yazum Vong, and so much of the stuff that happened. The really tragedy is that we didn't get, and I was hoping that they were going to cover this a little bit in the Solo movie, is they cover Corellia a little bit, but they don't confirm whether or not Corellia is still, a custom-built solar system. And that was something that was done in the expanded universe, was that Corellia wasn't just one planet. It was like 6 planets. And it was a space station that actually assembled the entire solar system. And I was hoping they were going to actually bring that in, but unfortunately they never did. But I'm hoping at some point in time in the future they'll bring up a story like that. And there's so many stories in Star Wars that have been covered in the comics, but because so many times the comics, they're not technically canon, they're a written form of canon, but the problem is Disney doesn't always honor Marvel's stuff. So, or not just Marvel, but also Dark Horse, and a bunch of the other comics companies that have come out with their own versions of Star Wars. So you never know what's going to be canon and what's not going to be canon. So, like, prime example, Ahsoka. Ahsoka had her own book that was published, and it covered a lot of what happened to her after Order 66. And then it was kind of retconned when they did Tales of the Jedi. They showed the aspect of her facing the Inquisitor that they did, but the other characters that were brought into the animated were not the same characters that were in the book. So they kind of retconned it, but they didn't retcon it completely. So you technically can still read the book, and it actually still technically covers a lot of the same characters and stuff like that, and the story of what happens with Ahsoka, but there's some elements that change a little bit. Like, for example, the whole story of how Ahsoka connects with Bail Organa and becomes part of the rebellion as full. They changed that slightly. So I don't know for sure if that book is still completely canon, but I recommend reading it because it is such a good book. And I really recommend it because also Ashley Eckstein, who did the voice of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, she does the audiobook. So if you want to actually hear Ahsoka telling the story, you can listen to the audiobook, and it's so good the way Ashley Eckstein does it. So I highly recommend checking that out because she has the same element that was used when Sammy, welcome in, when she was doing the voiceover for the Clone Wars when after Ahsoka leaves the temple, and you really get that aspect about her where she's trying to hide who she is, and you really get that, and I love that aspect about the book. So if you guys haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. Oh, Darth Jar Jar. Oh, absolutely. I was actually planning on covering that in the next Star Wars, Lego Star Wars that I'm covering, because Darth Jar Jar does show up in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. So, but I know there's something else. I think there was a alternate reality that was done. I forget who it was done by, though. I'm not sure if it was done by Image or Dark Horse. It might have been done by Marvel. I have to look it up. But there is a version of Jar Jar that is a Sith, and he's actually in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. So if you guys want to get a first-hand look at Darth Jar Jar, he's in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy in both versions. There's two Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. There's the first one that's Rebuild the Galaxy, and then there's Pieces of the Past. Both of them are on Disney Plus right now, so if you guys want to check them out, they're really good. I've watched both of them, and I actually really enjoyed them. The only thing I was a little disappointed in was that they didn't bring in the Freemakers Adventures. So the Freemakers still technically have their own series, which technically, because it was done independently, it wasn't part of well, I don't know if it was part of the deal with Disney or not, because if you look on Disney Plus right now, there's shorts of the Freemaker Adventures, but the Freemaker Adventures series is not on Disney Plus. You actually have to go outside of Disney Plus in order to find the Freemaker Adventures. The whole series is available on several streaming services, and there's a couple episodes that you can get on YouTube, and I know some people actually have the series. I think they saved, because I forget who it was aired by. I think it was on, I want to say it was on Disney XD, but I'm not 100% sure. So it was either Disney XD or Cartoon Network. I can't remember which. So I'm still looking to find all the episodes of Freemaker's Adventure. I watched the majority of the series, but I didn't get to finish the whole thing. So I'm still looking for the episodes that I missed. But it's a great series. If you get a chance to watch it, I highly recommend it, because it brings in that aspect, and this is something that's done in the Lego Star Wars video games, is there's that comedy aspect that's brought in with Lego Star Wars that you don't get from the movies and stuff like that, or even from the Clone Wars series and stuff like that. It goes for a more lighthearted aspect, which is part of the reason why the Lego Star Wars video game is so much fun. And there's that replayability because of all the comedy aspects. And Nero, welcome in, and the replayability because of the open world kind of aspect about it. So I highly recommend checking that out. Both Freemaker's Adventures and playing the Star Wars Lego video game. It's so much fun to play that, and I highly recommend it. I've actually got to go out and I got to find Star Wars Clone Wars. That was the Lego Star Wars Clone Wars game, which was Lego Star Wars number 3. So I got to get a hold of that, because I did not know that one existed. I thought it was part of the Skywalker saga, but apparently it wasn't included in the Skywalker saga. So Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars, it's kind of its own entity, where you can unlock a bunch of characters that I don't know if they're available in the Skywalker saga. Like, I don't know if Ahsoka's in there, I don't know if Rex is in there, or Fives, or Echo and the other members of Domino Squad, or if the Bad Batch are in that. I'm not sure. I'd really like it if they were, but they might be part of a downloadable content thing. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But I'm planning on checking to see if it's available through other sources. I kind of want to get the disc version, so I can play it on my PS3, but if I have to download it for my PC, I might have to do that. But the problem is there's this whole thing that's going on right now with PlayStation and Xbox and Microsoft doing that whole thing where they're not allowing you to save your game, or you don't have a digital copy, and it could be more of a, you're just renting and stuff like that, which I'm not a fan of. So I kind of want to get my own hardcore version. So I said why I would like your channel. Oh, thank you so much, Jesser. I really appreciate that. Star Wars has been part of my whole being. I've been a fan of Star Wars since I was a kid. My parents took me to see the original Star Wars movie in the theater, and I was still in diapers. I was still just a little baby. I was like 3 years old when they took me to see Star Wars A New Hope. So, and I've been a fan ever since. I saw the original Return of the Jedi in the theater. My parents might have taken us to see Empire Strikes Back in the theater. I'm not 100% sure. But I've been a fan of Star Wars ever since. I got a whole bunch of the sets and stuff when I was a kid, and I've been following it ever since. When the animated shows of Ewoks and droids came out, I was a huge fan of those. I still go back and watch those episodes. And I was a big fan of the Ewok Adventure, Caravan of Courage, and Ewoks in the Battle of Endor. And I've read almost all of the books that came out from the expanded universe, starting with the Thrawn saga with Heir to the Empire, Dark Forces, and Last Command, and Splinter of a Mind's Eye, the Han Solo Adventures, Lando Calrissian Adventures, the entire X-Wing saga, which was a huge series for me. I absolutely loved it. But I read everything from Star Wars, the whole Yuzan Vong invasion and all that stuff. I absolutely loved it. Is there any part? I unfortunately am not. I am not one of the cosplayers, part of the 501st, though I see them almost every year when I go to C2E2, except this past one. And I've gone to the, there's the special Star Wars gathering that happens, I think it's in Joliet, that happens every year. I haven't had a chance to get back to that, but one of my friends from school is an artist. He does a whole bunch of artwork for Star Wars. He's even put stuff out for Magic the Gathering. I'm hoping at some point in time, Magic the Gathering does a Star Wars arc, kind of like they're doing right now with Marvel, and I'm hoping some of his artwork finally gets featured, because he's been doing artwork and stuff like that for years, and his Star Wars artwork is off the chain. So I have to check and see if his stuff is on TikTok or if he hasn't published stuff on there, because I would love to share some of his artwork. It's amazing stuff. But I'm not part of any of a lot of the stuff that's on there. Tracy, welcome in. A lot of the groups and stuff like that. Most of the groups that I'm a part of are usually online ones. So I do a lot of my chatting and stuff like that through like TikTok and some on Facebook, and not as much on X and stuff like that. Like I do a lot of chatting on Reddit, though I did get banned from a chat group on Reddit, unfortunately, because I got some of the stuff I posted caused too many arguments, so they ended up closing, deleting my stuff and then banning me. So I have to be careful where I post my stuff, because unfortunately a lot of my stuff is, when I talk about stuff that some people don't really agree with my stuff, I get a lot of hate for that, which is part of the reason why Abby and I started our We Love All Star Wars Reddit page, so that way we can chat about the stuff that we love and we get to enjoy that kind of stuff. Though I should say, in regards to costumes and stuff like that, my sister did get me a First Order Stormtrooper hoodie, so I use that actually for my Marvin the Manically Depressed Android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when I do TikToks with him, because I basically wanted to do a character that was an emphasis of the stuff that I deal with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So I wanted to do a character that was like that. So I used the First Order hoodie for Marvin the Martian, or not Marvin the Martian, Marvin the Depressed Android. So, because it actually, when I first looked at it, I was like, wow, this doesn't look like a Stormtrooper. And then I took another look. I was like, it kind of reminds me of Marvin. So I wanted to do something with that. And I'm not really a huge fan of it. Though the cool thing is that I ended up doing, my son and I dressed up for Halloween. He dressed up as Darth Vader and I dressed up in my hoodie. So I look, when you see my kid as Darth Vader and you see me as a First Order Stormtrooper, I like tower over him. So it was absolutely adorable. I'll post that up at some point. I might post it on the Reddit page. I don't know if I'm ready to post it on TikTok or not, but I'll post it up at some point. I've got a lot of Halloween stuff that I post up every year. So I'll post it up probably on there at some point. So I usually wrap up at the hour mark, but if anybody has anything they'd like to chat more about or any questions you'd like to ask, definitely post it up in the chat. Thanks so much for everybody that's giving me likes and stuff like that. Looks like I got 2 follows from this, so I appreciate that so much. And I always enjoy chatting about Star Wars, so if anybody wants to chat with me through messages or you want to chat with me on Reddit, definitely reach out to me. Any one of the ways is fantastic. We have our Star Wars Besties chat group on TikTok that if anybody wants to be invited to that, let me know. I will definitely shoot you an invite to that. Abby's in there. I know A bunch of other people are a part of that group. If you can't get in because of your age or something like that, definitely reach out to us and let us know through my videos or through Abby of the Dark Side's videos. We post up Star Wars stuff. I post up the facts of the day every day. Abby posts up videos all the time. And Abby of the Dark Side is one of my great Star Wars besties. So if you guys want to support another person besides me, definitely support Abby, as well as so many of the other people. Obi-Wan, who's on here, he's a fantastic Star Wars fan, so I recommend anybody to support him. There's also, hang on a second, let me see if I can find her name here. It just slipped out of my head for a second. Zivery, the Mandalorian, she's a fantastic Star Wars fan. Her cosplay is off the hook. I highly recommend checking out her page. Her stuff is fantastic. But thanks everybody so much for coming in and chatting with me. It's been a blast, and I really enjoy chatting about Star Wars any chance I get. So if you guys want to support me, I also go live on a regular basis playing video games. I usually try to do it around the weeks and stuff like that, depending upon my hours of the job I work. Unfortunately, I do tend to work kind of late. They usually book me in the morning, but sometimes I'll go later in the day. So I usually get done in time to do it live in the evening, but it depends upon when I get home from work and how tired I am. So if you don't see me go live, definitely chat in some of my videos or shoot me direct messages. I'm more than happy to chat about Star Wars anytime. It's my favorite thing in the world, besides maybe Transformers. But I mean, I've got a massive collection of Star Wars stuff that I usually show off. So I'm more than happy to show that stuff off anytime. If you guys want videos about some of my collection, let me know. I posted up a few things from the last few. So I highly recommend checking out any of my videos about Star Wars. If there's a fact that you want me to go back and research more, I would be more than happy to do that. I've got a collection playlist that I've done of all the facts so far. So if you guys want to see like what I'm gonna be, what I've already covered. Oh, and don't want to forget this. I am still working on the trivia contest that I want to. Abby of the Dark Side is helping me with this. I really want to get this done, but I'm having some difficulty figuring out who to bring in. I'm looking for people to participate in a trivia contest. It's to make it easy on everybody. I'm gonna make it just about the Star Wars facts that I've already covered. So if you want to research some of the facts that I've already covered, and let me know through direct message if you're interested in taking part of it. I've already loaded up a few videos about that. I will definitely create a few more videos about the trivia contest once I'm moving towards it. I've got to make sure I've got time to actually do a good lengthy broadcast of it. So I want to make sure I do that. So before I actually do the contest, I want to make sure I do it like a trial run. So, but I want to do like several versions of the contest so that not only there's not just one winner, there's going to be multiple winners. So that way we can have a big contest with all the winners at the end. And I do want to do prizes and stuff like that. And I'm still that's the aspect that I'm still working on, is not only one, how I'm going to do the prizes, but also how I'm going to get the prizes to the people that participate. Because I know a lot of people don't want to broadcast their addresses and stuff like that. So I got to figure out how exactly I'm going to do it. But I do want to take part in that contest, and I want to make sure that people get a chance to take part in it. So if anybody's interested in taking part in the trivia contest that I'm planning on having, let me know. Shoot me a direct message or post it in one of the chats that we're in. I really appreciate everybody taking part. If you're interested in taking part in it, let me know. I'd appreciate it. And if you just want to chat with me about Star Wars anytime, let me know. I'm available. If I don't respond right away, because sometimes I'm at work and stuff like that, I will chat back to you at some point. It might be a couple hours or something like that, depending on if I'm at work, if I'm super busy. But I'm more than happy to chat back as soon as I can. So thanks everybody so much for coming in. I'm going to check out here. But I really appreciate everybody coming and helping me out. So thanks everybody. And this is Turbo TJ signing off from WTMFI 67.42 FM Chicago. Thanks for coming in for the weekly review. I will be loading this up to my YouTube page. The link is on my profile. If you want to check out the other shows, this was show 20. This is my 20th show of the Facts of the Day review. So thank you all so much for making this a great show. I really had fun talking with everybody. Thanks for all the gifts and for everybody that participated in the chat. I really appreciate it. Show 20 is now in the bag. I'll be posting this up on the YouTube page. And thank you all for coming in. So thanks a lot and have a great night.